This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast that celebrates the everyday runner. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher. If you run, you are a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories, and we cross finish lines and celebrate milestones together. This episode is brought to you by Organic Pure Fuel. Organic Pure Fuel is made by Anderson's maple syrup, and it is just that, pure organic maple syrup. And I know it seems maybe a little strange, but it is my most favorite running fuel. I just got back from Vegas, as you'll hear, and I used it during my half. I had 3 packets. I do it about every 4 miles. And you know what? I wish I would have brought in 4 packets so that I could have also used it on my waffles the morning of the race, because I had these incredible waffles, and their tagline is from waffles to workouts, because it's the same exact maple syrup that you can use on your waffles, oatmeal, coffee, whatever. And I also love the fact that it has everything that you want in a fuel, the carbs, etc., but it also has antioxidants and electrolytes, which is an added bonus. It goes down really easy because it's pretty liquidy, and it's also easy on my stomach. And if you want to try it, which you 100% should, they sell 10 packs and 24 packs on their website. If you go to andersonsmaplesyrup.com and then click shop at the top and Pure Fuel, you can use code FUEL20 at checkout to save 20% off your order. And they also have the 24 packs available on Amazon. Anderson's maple syrup is also available in stores nationwide. So if you look in the syrup aisle, you're likely to find some Andersons there as well. When you support this company, you also are supporting the preservation of acres of hardwood forests across the Midwest. Thank you so much to Andersons for supporting this podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 97. This is Allie, and I am fresh off of the Vegas Rock and Roll Half Marathon. I had a blast in Vegas. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, you can see plenty of Rock and Roll Vegas content there. I'm Allie, ALLYT Brett, BRETT_runs. Anyway, I have gone now 3 times for this race, and I go with my dad, who goes with his cousin and his cousin's kids, and they've been doing it for a handful of years. I first started in, what year is it? 25. So I did 25, 24, skipped 23 because my friend Selena got married, and then I did it in 22 for the first time. So I've done it 3 times. I'm already registered for next year, if that goes to show how much I do love that race. It's just really fun. It's weird that it's a night race. It starts at 4:30 Las Vegas time, which is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, the time zone that I am on. And, you know, the night before, my dad and I went to the Eagles concert at the Sphere, and we were gambling on our feet a ton. And so it's not necessarily a race where I go super fast, but rather to have a great time. But I did tell my coach, Rachel, to make it a challenging enough race plan. And so it was that. I finished just over what she prescribed. I did a 150.47, and last year I did around a 145, just under. So a little slower than last year, but I'm totally fine with it. It was so much fun. So if you want to do it next year, let me know, because I'll be there. So you should. It's a blast. And I am going to write a recap. I'm in the middle of doing that. It always takes me longer than I think to do that. So stay tuned if you want to hear even more about my trip. And before I talk about this week's guest, I'm going to plug a couple of upcoming local events. There is my coach, Rachel Cinders, is hosting a 1-day retreat for Team RMR, Rachel Michelle Running. It is on International Women's Day, ironically enough, next Saturday, March 8th. Just let me know if you're interested. I can send you a link to register. Also, the same day, there's a 5K. The Shiro 5K is part of the Kokomo Women's Expo up in Kokomo, Indiana. So if you're interested in that, I think there is a link in my bio on Instagram for that, or you can just Google the name of the race and register. And then on the 14th and 15th of this month of March is the Holiday Park Trail Run. I'll be doing the family night with my kids, having my 7-year-old run the 1 mile and my toddler run whatever distance they have them run. And then I'll be doing the 5-miler on Saturday. So really excited for those upcoming events. And if you don't already know the story behind the Holiday Park Trail Run, you can just rewind a couple episodes and listen to episode 95 with Lisa Hurst. And she tells the story about how that race came to be and why you should do it. So join me if you are local to the Indy area. Okay, and now for this week's guest, Robert Jackson. I am just so impressed by Robert. He is a force. He's only been running for a short time, and it's clear he has this natural talent. He recently kicked off his year of racing with the Polar Bear in Indianapolis, and he did what's called the Bear, and it's a 5K and a 5-miler. And he scored second in his age group, so congratulations, Rob, for a great start to the year. And Robert and I talk about a lot. This episode's actually pretty long for one of my episodes, but I found I just couldn't really stop talking to Rob. He is, like I said, new to the sport, but has a lot to share, has big goals on his future. But we talk about how he started running, how he ended up with a coach, how he's used some interesting methods of training because of injuries, but he's done a lot on the elliptical. He trained for his first marathon on the treadmill. And perhaps, as you've noticed with the title of this podcast episode, Rob also happens to be a Black man. And he is one of the few that runs marathons in this country. He's in the top 55 of Black men in the U.S. and hopes someday to crack the top 25. But we talk about what it's like to be a Black unicorn and why he says that more Black men don't run marathons. So that was a really interesting part of our conversation as well. And we talk about shoes. He loves his shoes. And you might want to grab some Kleenex for when he talks about losing his sweet mom. But Rob really is so incredible. And I know that you're going to love this conversation with Rob Jackson. We're in business.
All right, let's do this.
Hello, Rob Jackson.
Hello. Hello.
See, I'm already making you laugh. Look at that.
There we go.
You ready?
I'm ready if you're ready.
This is a lot less intense than being on stage at the Boston Expo.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less intense, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be so fun.
Excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You and I first met in person. Was it Monumental last year, like walking? You and Brennan were walking. Brennan or Brennan?
Brennan.
Yeah, we're walking out of the expo. And I was like, hey, I don't think I'd ever met him in person either, maybe.
Yeah, so when we were walking towards you, and I was like, I know her. And he was like, yeah, I know her too. I've never really talked to her, but I knew about the podcast, knew about everything else, the bouquets and whatnot. And I was like, oh, this is my chance to say hi. And then after that, we've kept in touch since then. So it was a nice first meeting. Yeah. And then it just led to this.
And then you just crushed it at Monumental.
Yeah, it was definitely something I expected, but also didn't expect at the same time. I know that sounds weird to say, but the summer I had an injury. It took away most of my summer/fall training, so I missed the Chicago Marathon. I had to cancel that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I had to cancel Geist. I had to cancel a bunch of things. I was in a dark place too during that time. So, and we could touch base on that later on. But all I did, it's funny because we're in Carmel, and all I could picture myself was being like a Carmel mom in the gym because I was on the elliptical 24/7 almost. I'm doing 2 hours a day at threshold on the elliptical, like Parker Valby style. Saturdays, I would mimic a long run. So long run Saturdays, I would do 3 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours on elliptical. And I'm talking about like 10 minutes on, 1 minute rest, 10 minutes on, or even 5-minute rest, and just going. Like, I'm dripping sweat. And I'm like, I'm getting my Carmel mom going.
Yeah.
So it's not, if you walk into the gym now, you don't really see people using an elliptical like that.
Right. Like I'm trying to picture the kind of elliptical because I feel like they're not all created equal. Because you've got, some are like, okay, so just kind of try to describe it.
So mine had the handlebars that you move the handles, the arms with it.
So you're moving your arms the whole time too?
Yeah. I'm going full force. It was great. So when I was able to come back to actually running even a little bit, I wasn't too much out of shape. So I was able to come back, hit some speeds. I didn't have all my gears, but I had a gear that was fast enough to at least give me a PR. Like, I knew that I could hang 6-minute miles for a long time. After that, it was I might sink, But the good thing was I didn't need to go below 6 that much to even get a PR. So I was happy with that. And then, like, if you would have told me in the summer I was going to finish the year with the time that I finished at Monumental, I would have looked at you and laughed and like, that's not going to happen. It's going to be way faster. And then injuries happen, life happens. And then I got a time that I was super excited about. And it was a full circle moment. I was happy that I overcame the injury.
Yeah. Tell people your time.
It was 2:37:12.
Okay.
And that was only with 1 month of solid training.
That's insane.
So I was out pretty much mid-July. I went from 100-mile weeks to maybe 10, 15 miles 1 week, and 1 week it was only 1 mile. It was bad.
That's crazy. I just think, well, at least all those hours on the elliptical paid off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it helped me not get a dad bod, so I was super excited about that.
What did you do on the elliptical? Did you watch something?
Oh, Netflix and chill
There
all
you
the
go.
time.
Okay.
And that's the same thing with the treadmill. I turned Netflix on.
Same. I love it so much.
I rewatched Outer Banks.
Oh, I've never watched that.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Loved that.
Scandal.
Yeah.
I'm a TGIT guy, so Grey's Anatomy, ABC.
Yeah.
I'm tuned in on that for sure. So I rewatched a lot of series I've already watched. Friday Night Lights,
Okay.
the TV show, and then Madam President. Just
Mm-hmm.
nothing too crazy to get your heart rate up outside of me working hard. So
Yeah.
it was pretty chill.
Yeah. I'm just picturing you on an elliptical watching Grey's Anatomy for like 3 hours.
It's funny because I'm actually next to, in the morning, this lady and I are always the only ones on the elliptical. And it's not trying to throw her age out there, but she's an older lady. She's a grandma. But she's working hard and I'm working just as hard. And it's just funny because you see me and then you see her in the gym together. So every
Did you
time
ever talk to her? Did
Yeah.
you like become friends?
Every time I get on the elliptical, she looks at me, I look at her, I say, good morning. She's like, good morning. And we smile and we get to going on the elliptical.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I actually still do the elliptical now. I feel like it's given me an advantage as of late as far as like threshold work because I still crank it up on there. And it's a way to get some threshold or at least high heart rate work without using my legs as much. So I was able to save my legs for the actual miles. And I'm able to still stress my body somewhat. So I feel like it's been working. I do it. I make sure I hit it for 30 to 40 minutes hard every Tuesday morning. And that's after running 6 miles and before I have my Tuesday night speed practice. So I'm already got some type of moderate to threshold workout in the morning on the elliptical. And then we go full go Tuesday night. So I feel like I've definitely seen, if you've seen my numbers as of late talking to Matt, you would say it's worked.
Yeah. So what injury did you deal with last year?
It was a bad sciatic nerve flare-up.
Oh, no. That sounds so painful.
Oh, it was. A bad sciatic nerve, and my fibular head and my knee was unaligned. For a common person like us, you look at your knee, you couldn't tell anything was wrong with it at all. It's not like it's swollen or anything like that. And I'm at PT, and the PT looks at it, and she's eyeing it, and she goes to the side, eyes it again, and then looks at it, and then she said, hold on. She clicks it. And I mean, this was a pop. This was the biggest pop I think I've heard from my knees. And I feel like my knees pop all the time. And it popped, and I made the face, and she said, did that hurt? I was like, no, it was just like it was like instant relief. Like I could feel like the blood flowing type thing. Like, you know, if you like cut your arm or something and you like feel the blood, this is what it felt like. It just relief. And then after that, I was able to run a little bit more. But more so, I still had to focus on my back and my stretches, my sciatic.
Yeah.
So what the sciatic did, it tightened up my back, which tightened up my hamstrings. And then the tight hamstrings caused the fibular head to move.
Yeah.
And then what happened was I was traveling a lot for work, driving three hours out, 3 hours back, because I have a lot of plants for my business in Ohio. So I had to do a lot of travel in Ohio. And that sitting for a long period of time just killed my body. And, you know, most runners, they don't do prehab. It's only rehab. They only do it when they're hurt.
Yeah, that's me.
When you're not hurt, you don't think about it. But as soon as you get hurt and you notice it only takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just do some simple stretches and you feel wonderful. But then as soon as you get healthy, like even when you did it while injured, you'll be healthy. You're like, I don't need it anymore.
Yeah. And that's me. That's the cliche runner, though. Runners
Yeah.
don't like to stretch.
Nope. I can wake up out of bed, run 7 easy, a little bit below 7 easy, And I'm running with Mark Geyer.
Yeah.
He's yelling at me. He's like, man, I just got out of bed. Let's do these 8:20s and stuff. I'm like, man, let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm awake. Did you run today?
Yeah.
At 5 a.m.?
Yes, I did. 9 degrees out. It was so fun by myself in the dark. That was sad.
Yeah, I ran outside today, which I was very proud of myself for doing.
I saw.
I did it.
It's funny because the other day you posted, you post a lot of treadmill videos, and I usually get a good laugh at them. And I was texting Brendan. I was like, has she ran outside recently? I feel like I see a lot of treadmill, which is fine. Treadmill made me. I'm never going to knock somebody for being on a treadmill.
Heard that you trained for your first marathon all on a treadmill, like 99% on a treadmill.
99%. So, one, if you know me, and you can ask Hannah, my good teammate, Mark Satterley, anybody that I run with, I do not have a sense of direction. I cannot tell you. I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to get lost when it comes to running. And even driving, I drive with the GPS on.
Yeah, I do too.
Just for insurance.
Yeah.
But so I didn't want to run by myself. I didn't know areas and things like that. And I was just new to Fishers at the time. And then also, I will say, being African American in the dark, don't always feel the safest. So I did a lot of my training on treadmill. My friend talked me into running a marathon. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then he was pestering me for like a few weeks. And I said, all right, let's do it. But I'm only going to do it if we try to qualify for Boston. And at this time, I don't know what Boston is really. I know it's a big race because I've seen it on TV, but I don't know anything about qualifying, whatever the standards are for different ages. I don't know anything. And he's like, do you know how hard it is to get into Boston? I was like, no, I just know it's a big race. And then that was our running joke. And then as I was training, I never told anybody that was like the goal. I would just kept it to myself because I didn't want to get laughed at. Like, who's this guy trying to run and then qualify for Boston his first time? And then as I'm training, I'm like, dang, I'm actually kind of good at this. Like, maybe I'm beating my friend in all our long runs because since we have jobs, we couldn't meet up in the morning too much. So we only met up on Saturday mornings to run our long run. So the only run I ran outside was a long run.
Okay.
And it was every Saturday, and I would be like way ahead of him. But he was the guy that was more experienced, and he was just pacing himself on Saturdays. And I was like, nah, that ain't the way to do it. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go hard every Saturday. That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then Monday through Friday, I'm on the treadmill. I was running. What I would do was I'd run a couple miles at a certain speed. So if you put the treadmill on 8, run for a few miles, put it to 8.5, run for a few miles, then put it up to 9, run for a few miles, and I'm done. I would do that same rotation of speed Monday through Friday for like a week or two, and then the next week would be 9, 9.5, 10, and then so on and so on. That's a horrible way to train. Don't do it. Just putting that out there.
It sounds terrible. Anyway, for me, my 10 is my sprint. So
yeah, don't do it. But that was it. Like, that was my treadmill training. I would not knock anybody for training on a treadmill. It can be done. You can go sub 3. You can go faster than that if you want to. I will say, after transitioning to a coach and being outside more often, there's certain levels of fitness that you're not going to get on a treadmill.
Yeah.
But, unless you're already at that level. Like, you see the pros train on a treadmill, that's different. They're already at that level of fitness before they're on the treadmill. Yeah. I don't think I'd be where I'm at today if I was solely on the treadmill. Yeah. So the treadmill is a key piece of training. I think every runner needs to have some treadmill love, but I can't find anybody that likes the treadmill. I'm like literally the only one.
I know. There's only a couple people I know that'll run on the treadmill. My coach is Rachel Cinders, and she came out today to run with me. But she tried to bail. She's like, I hate to be the one to do this. I can't believe I'm the one doing this. But my treadmill. She just got it not too long ago. And so now that she has that option, she's like, and I'm like, no, you're coming. And she did. But it is such a nice option to have. Was your treadmill at home? Did you have one at home, or did you have to go to a gym?
No, so at the gym. And honestly, at that time, it was better for me because it gave me the motivation to get up in the morning.
Out.
Getting up in the morning at 5 a.m., to be somewhere running at 5 a.m. is, you don't want to do that. I don't want to do it now. I do it every day. So if it was in my downstairs, it'd been like, oh, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, it's like 5:30 and I get half my run in.
Yes.
But I do want a treadmill for the house eventually.
Yeah.
But it does add extra benefit that it's not in my house at the moment.
Right. That does make sense because you still have to get out and go to
Yep.
it. Yeah. Yeah, for me, sometimes I won't let the day go away before I get my run. I will get it in, but I don't always do it first thing.
Yeah. See, I would say running first thing is like coffee. People have to have their coffee first thing.
Yeah.
I have to get my run in because if not, I'm stressing the rest of the day. I think that's part of like my anxiety and things of that nature that will just, I'll be in a bind the whole day just thinking about when I'm going to get my run in until I can, then after I get my run in, then I can like breathe and relax.
Everything is good now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a dad of 3 girls?
Yeah. 3 girls I struck out, right?
Yeah. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and I have 2 girls of my own, so.
See, did you want a boy?
I mean, kinda, because you're supposed to, right? You're like, I'm supposed to want one of each, right? At least. And then, but I don't know what to do with boys. I'm the oldest of 3 girls.
It's funny because I really wanted my first kid to be a girl, so I was super happy with it. My wife, though, she was a little hurt. And the second one, I was like, all right, this is going to be the boy. It's going to be the boy. And it was a girl. And then I got suckered into one more chance. It's like, you gotta try one more time. Yeah, let's do that. And as soon as they said it was a girl, I was like, all right, I'm leaving the room. I gotta go. I'm gonna go run. So there's three girls.
Yeah. You can try one more time.
No, trust me, I got snipped before the third one was even born. That's how I knew I was done. I was retiring the jersey.
Yeah. That's fair. I know if we are done with 2 at 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spare you the details. But I know that if we had another kid, it would be a girl. So it's like, but my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they had 2 girls and then they had a boy. So it happens. It's just like.
Man, I don't have that type of luck. I'll tell you that right now. But I will say, I know several of my guys that have all boys. They either have 2 boys or 3 boys. And I'm super happy I don't have boys. I'm blessed. Those kids are crazy.
Yeah.
They don't care. They got guns shooting around everywhere, Nerf guns, and I don't have to worry about Nerf guns. I just have to worry about freaking Ken dolls and stuff like Frozen. That's all I have to worry about.
Like play makeup now is like one of my least favorite things.
God,
or like slime.
I hate slime. Anybody that gives our kids slime for Christmas, they're on my hate list.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, why don't you just give me some glitter slime?
Yeah.
Like, make it worse. Because, let's do a glitter slime
100%.
That's you get that for people you hate.
Yep.
For sure. So how old are your girls?
9, 6, and the youngest one just turned 4 last week. Actually, this week. Birthday party was last week, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we have similar ages. So mine is, I have an almost 4-year-old. She'll be 4 at the end of April. She's a true second born. Like, she's nuts. And then I have a 6-year-old, or 7-year-old, and she'll be 8 in July.
How's the oldest? What's her characteristics?
She's a lot like me. She's a very firstborn, like rule follower, somewhat type A. Yeah, the rule follower is definitely what I would use to describe her.
That is my oldest to a T. Like she, for example, she'll cry if she gets a C like on a homework assignment. Like she cried to me like last week, for example. She had a C on a paper. Mind you, her grades are all A's. I just put that out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, just because you have all A's doesn't mean you don't get bad grades in between. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I don't have to get on your case because you're already on your case enough. So you're already crying, and this is just a homework assignment. I said, well, I told her, I was like, it's okay. Like, I mean, you do need to get better. You do need to get a better grade, but this does not make or break your grade. If you're getting A's on the test and other things, 1 C won't hurt you. Yeah. But no, she better not bring home a C on the report card though. Right. That's different. That's different.
Yeah, I remember I got grounded once for having a B on a midterm.
Yep. Same here. Actually, like my parents did not play. When we got home from school, it wasn't, can I go play? It was report to the kitchen table, snack, and homework. And then if there's time left, you can go outside and play. If there's not, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah. So. Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up on the south side of Indy.
Okay.
So, Decatur Township area, close to downtown, say close to, if you know, like Mooresville or Plainfield, Indiana. So around that area.
Yeah. I don't know the south side super well. Plainfield rings a bell for sure.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't want to know the south side.
Yeah, I don't go there. Sorry. I go downtown. That's as far south as I go, unless I'm going all the way south.
Decatur, where my parents lived, is about 10 minutes away from downtown. So
okay.
So
that's not like super south.
Yeah.
And they're still there, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. And do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. People think that he's the older one just because, I mean, he's balding and he's bigger and he's bigger than me.
Oh.
I'm the good-looking one of the two, so
Will he listen to this?
I hope so. I hope that he knows that he's ugly. No,
Oh, man. Shots
I
fired.
would say he's ugly, but I got the looks.
How much younger is he than you?
A year and 11 months.
Okay, so you guys are like pretty
Like
close.
picture me, but 6'1", and like cock diesel. Like he played Division I football. See,
Oh, all right.
I wasn't anything. I was just a scrub, pretty
There you
much.
go.
So I'll give him his props on that.
There you go.
I still have better stats than him though, football wise.
Mm.
But when you're good, they key on you. So he's getting a little. There's some love right there.
There's some love right there. All right, how old are you?
Oh man, how old do you think I am?
Oh, don't ask me that. I don't know ages. Rude.
That's a good way.
How old do you think I am? Let's play that game.
33.
That's how old you're 33.
No, I'm not 33. I'm
Oh.
guessing you 33.
33? Me?
See,
That's so nice.
See.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, no, you're in your 20s still, right?
31.
31.
I wish. But yeah, 31.
Okay. Wow.
But a lot of people do say that because I do look a little bit younger than what my age is, and then when they find out I have 3 kids, they're like, "Hold on, how old are you?"
yeah, like wait a minute.
Yeah, I started early. Honestly, I'm not mad about it though.
Yeah, how old were you when you had your oldest daughter?
I was a senior and a half. Like I was on my 4th year. I still had a half semester left, so
Okay.
I did college in 4.5 years, and then my wife was going into her senior year. She did 4, and I did 4.5. So we had our senior year of college. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, but if you think about it, back then, that's like almost a record because people were popping out kids back in high school, and I'm
Crazy.
like, I could never. But in college, senior year, I was happy. You plan things differently, sure, but it made me grow up faster, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. So did you meet your wife, Jordan? Did you meet her in college?
Yes, actually, the library. I know that sounds cliche and stuff
Aw.
like that. We actually got married outside the library.
Oh, downtown?
Mm-hmm.
That is such a pretty
So we both went
spot.
to IUPUI, now
Okay.
IU Indy. And there's that big water fountain outside the library. You actually run past it in the Indy Mini on your left-hand side down that main street. And we, at that point in our life.
Or you mean the Monumental?
No,
the Mini.
The Indy Mini.
What
It's
am I thinking of?
The finish line, the stretch of the finish line, that long street that takes like
Oh, so
forever
I'm
long.
thinking the downtown library. Okay, so I'm thinking of the wrong library.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of like Central Library, which
Yeah.
you run by it like in the Monumental or
Mhm.
the mile now. But okay, so you're talking about on the IU
campus.
campus. Okay.
You can't miss that water fountain running the Indy Mini. Like it's right there on your left hand side. It's that long stretch, the final stretch.
When
of
I'm
the
like
race.
blacked out, just focus on the finish line.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the longest stretch in all of racing. Just put that out there.
Right.
That,
It does feel
You feel like it's
really
like
long.
5 miles.
It does.
And
Feel
it's
so
horrible.
far.
Like the Boston straightaway, like it's nothing
You can
compared.
see it
to,
right away.
Yeah.
And you're like, there I am.
It's nothing compared to the Indy Mini.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
we was at a point. We was like, well, do we want this wedding, or do we want to go to a house? Like we have our daughter. I have a bunch of money saved up. I just been saving, and we can put something down a house or have a nice extravagant wedding like everybody else likes to have. Our wedding and our marriage cost $25. So we got the marriage license. My best friend at the time, he got ordained, and we met in the library. So we got married outside the library on campus. Just my parents, my brother, and then her parents and her siblings. Got married there. Went to Old Charlie's after that. Got some free cake. I ate a bunch of rolls. We bought a house the next day, and that was it. We didn't even go on a honeymoon. I mean, at that point, we didn't have all of our money went to that house, our first house, to build our family. So no honeymoon at the moment as of yet. So we're hoping to do something for our 10-year though.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 10-year last year and we didn't do anything. Season of life, I guess you could say, but it's like, man, we need to do something. That's a big milestone.
So what I want to do is I want to renew our vows, and not have like a wedding, but like I want to get the pictures and everything.
Yeah, like a reception, like
yeah,
a part, like
everybody else.
Together
I want to see her in her dress, see the girls walk down with the flowers.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, so a little version of that would be nice.
Okay, so and we're recording this on Valentine's Day. So are you a romantic guy? Because that sounds super cute and romantic to me.
I like surprises.
Oh, me too.
So what I do is I suck though at them. I like them, but I suck at them.
Okay.
Because as soon as I buy her something, I want to be like, babe, look at this. Look what I just bought you.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to hide Christmas presents from her. I want to give them to her as soon as I get them. But I like to think I'm romantic.
That's
I think
cute,
she would
though,
think
that you want to give it. Yeah, you, like, immediately want to make her happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you met at the library. Tell people, like, what did you do? Like, walk up to her and just, like, start talking to her? How did you actually meet?
I said, what do you do, baby? No, I'm just like,
and she was like, yes, please.
Pretty much. No, honestly, I look totally different than what I was now. I was a shy kid, about 20. The first time I met her, I didn't really talk to her, like, the first, because I knew her through a friend. Like, I met her through a friend in the library because I was with him and we met her. And then I would just talk to her shyly through Instagram. Aww. Not really talk to her in person. And that lasted for about like a year and a half. And then we finally hung out once after that year and a half. But picture me,
that's so
short-haired, I don't have the hair that I have now, like a fade, and about 30 pounds overweight. That's what I was. So I was shy. Like I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't think I had a chance. So, I mean, as you lose weight and gain a little bit of confidence, you start to shoot your shots a little more. And then she would always give me candy, and because I wouldn't talk. So she'd give me some candy in the library, and after that we started talking. I started walking her to class, and then we meet up at the gym. She wanted to work out, and then I was in my fitness thing. And then after that, we just made a bond, and then we just clicked.
Yeah.
Like, look at you get me all
this is so
all softened up on here.
Well, you guys are so cute.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. On Instagram, you dance, and I love that about you.
See, my friends say I can't dance. I just think I just got a select style of dance. That's what it is.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. You're dancing. You don't care. It's
exactly.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I love to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if it's goofy or not.
Yeah.
It gets me loose. I'm ready. Yeah, I'll dance before a race if I have to.
Yeah.
It's all fun.
Yeah. Well, I joked with Jordan, your wife, about having her on instead of you to, like, hear her side of supporting a marathon runner, because it is hard, especially with 3 young girls.
Yeah.
How in the world do you make that work?
So she's actually joked in the past about, like, doing a podcast, like her own, like, supporting a runner, because, I mean, people see us runners, they see us, but they don't see behind the scenes.
Right.
And the supporter, sometimes the husband or the wife, they do a lot. I put a lot on her plate when it's like big race time. For example, she schedules like all my appointments, like my chiropractor, my massages. She makes sure all the food is in order in the house for the week of the race. And then, like, when we're out, if we have to go to a different state or thing like that, she handles the hotel booking, the flights, the driving, the Ubers, things of that nature. Like, my thing is just run. So, like, it's funny because I remember last year before Boston, my dad was watching our kids, and he always has a lot of questions. His memory is bad. And he's asking me all these questions while I'm at work. I said, I don't do this. Don't ask me questions. I just run. Ask Jordan.
Yeah, she knows.
She'll tell you everything. Like, just don't ask me.
Yeah.
And then my wife would call me telling me, and, like, I told him just to ask you. Like, don't ask me anything. I just run. But no, it is a lot, and I'm thankful for her because she has a full-time job, and getting up early in the mornings isn't easy for anybody. But then she gets up early in the mornings, gets all 3 kids ready and herself ready, and then I'm just walking in the door.
Yeah, I mean, that's a marathon in of itself. Like,
yeah.
It's so much easier to go out and run however many miles you're running than it is to
get
for
3
sure. Kids ready. Yes.
She's getting ready, getting all dolled up, and then getting the girls all dolled up.
Yeah.
And I'm just walking in from the gym, like, or from outside freezing, acting like I'm tired, and she's done more than I've done.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do put a lot on her plate, and I if you ever look at my posts after a race, I do say we did it.
Yeah.
Thank you to the wife. We got this PR, or we finished this, because I couldn't do it without her. If she wasn't supporting me as much as she does, I wouldn't be able to give all my energy to it.
Yeah.
That I'll give the energy that I want to give to it.
Right.
And I wouldn't say all my energy, but give the energy I want to give toward the race or just the sport in general. So she's definitely made me. If she wasn't in my corner, I wouldn't be at the level that I'm at now.
Yeah. She should start like a runners supporters support group. podcast.
Something
like that.
She should.
Because it's so hard. I like to say, well, one of my friends, Carly Stewart, who was on this podcast, she's with New Shoe Day. I don't know if you've ever met her, but her episode title was "This is Easier Than Parenting," because we joke about how like being the spectator and like hauling your kids around to like cheer for your runner is harder than just like all you have to do is just run.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny, but also very true.
That's her. And then her big thing is like on race day, like she's like got to be right there at the finish line. I see her before I see the finish line sometimes at any race. She makes sure at Boston, she has this one spot. If you ever run Boston, you'll see it, but it says like the building will have a poster on it that says you're this many steps away from the finish line.
Okay.
And she's at that spot the last 3 years in a row. She's met the same cop 3 years in a row. Like they know each other.
That's fun.
Almost by name. Same group of people. So she's dedicated. So she'll walk me to the bus at Boston, and we get there on the buses around 5, 6 o'clock. And then she gets her Dunkin' Donuts and sits in that one spot. Like she's there so early she could actually sit in the stands of the Boston Marathon, but she doesn't have the credentials. But so so she gets as close as you possibly can as a spectator without credentials and sits right there and just waits hours all day.
It's a good thing you're fast.
that does help.
You're like, I gotta run. Jordan's waiting.
It's funny though because she does say that sometimes because obviously you're there with different people and they got their runners and they're like, yeah, my husband's gonna be done this time, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna be gone before then.
Yeah.
So that is nice. I'm happy I don't have to make her wait too long.
Right.
That is a plus.
Yeah, that's funny. So when you were a kid growing up, did you play like kind of normal sports? Were you athletic growing up?
Yeah, basketball, football. I mean, I will say I was overweight some, but at the same time, I was athletic enough to where like I would surprise you. So I was like in football, I would play offensive guard and defensive end. So if you think of those positions now in football, like those are kind of bigger positions. But then you go to basketball, I'm playing point guard, shooting guard.
Yeah.
Your lineman usually isn't playing a point guard.
Yeah.
Or shooting guard.
Yeah.
So let that sink in. That'll tell you the athleticism right there. And then, I mean, I played varsity football and basketball as a sophomore all the way through.
Okay.
So I wasn't too bad. I had some interest a little bit in football. I mean, as big as Butler and then as small as Podunk, Iowa. So nothing crazy. When I got done with high school sports, I was so beaten up. My sophomore year, I had a torn labrum. Junior year, I tore my meniscus.
Jeez.
In the summer. So I had a lot of injuries in high school. It made sports not fun in a way. And also when you don't have the right coach, it does take a toll on you. And that's why I'm so thankful for Matt. I look at Matt almost. I mean, my dad was in my life and he's still in my life, and I'm happy to have him. Matt's like almost a dad to me. I can come to Matt with anything. I can call him. I feel like I can call him at 1 o'clock in the morning. If I was on the side road, he'd come pick me up. Yeah. So if I were to let Matt down, I would feel like I'm letting my dad down, like type thing. So when Matt lays into me sometimes, I feel that like it hits a little different than just a regular coach talking to you. When you have that relationship, it does hit.
How did you find Matt?
It's funny because I was on the way home from my first Boston, and then a few of us were on the bus to get our cars from the airplane, and I see another guy with a Boston jacket, another guy from a Boston jacket, and we're just talking about where we train out of, and I came across his old teammate, Rob, who's the athletic director at Fisher's. Okay. And then he's like, oh, do you know of PBT? I was like, I don't know anything. PB who? Like,
yeah, what?
Matt who? That doesn't ring a bell to me. He said, I'll get you in touch with him. And then he told Matt my backstory and things like that, and Matt's talking to me. He said, I'm not going to lie. You might be one of the more interesting athletes that I've taken on because nothing correlates to the time that you currently have or the skill that you currently have. It's untapped. Like, basketball and football don't correlate to this. And you haven't been playing those sports for a while. You just picked this up in a year, and this is what happens. Like, you do have potential to do this and that. And what sold me on Matt was, like, not even, like, knowing me, he was excited to coach me. And I thought that was really cool. It wasn't even about money. I mean, obviously we pay him. Yeah. I mean, I would like to think he's living good.
With how many athletes he has, I hope so.
I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even about that. That was the last thing we even talked about. It was more so, I think you could do this, this, and that. And then what sold me was he's had 8 or 9 Olympic trial runners. I mean, if you're going to shoot for a goal, why not shoot big? I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to get there, but if I'm going to, I got the coach to do it, and I got the person that believes in me to do it. So I might as well make that a goal. And if the good thing about that goal being so big, if I don't make it, I'm still winning because I'm going to get faster trying to achieve that goal. So if I'm getting faster while trying to achieve that goal, even if I don't hit that goal, I'm a winner. It's a win-win situation to me. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, and like the way I asked you about crushing it at Monumental, you got a PR, but still it wasn't. Yeah. Like you still wanted more. Like
by last year, I would say I was more like a 234 runner, between 234 and 235. And obviously, I mean, 237 is a fair amount of time off of it. Yeah. But at the same time, I also cut off almost 2 minutes.
It's crazy.
Off a month of training. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, what?
Yeah.
The winter, Matt's like, you could really do well.
Yeah.
So you got into distance running because your friends like, let's sign up for a marathon. Like that's literally how you started.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you run anything else, like half marathons or 5Ks, 10Ks, like anything?
Before I ever ran a marathon, the most I ever ran outside was 3 miles. And that was just like a typical 5K here and there, like just once in a while.
Like an organized 5K.
Yeah, I ran the Colts 5K once or twice.
Okay.
And I didn't like train or anything. It was just like, oh, it's Colts 5K. You get to finish on the 50-yard line. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that was a cool idea to me. It wasn't nothing about like finishing top 10 in my age group or this and that or PRs. I didn't know what a PR was. So I was like, so when my friend that talked me into it, we both work at the same company at the time. He's the health nut as far as like endurance sports and things of that nature. I'm just the lifter and had a sports background. So we would talk sports, this and that. And he would tell me about triathlons. I'm like, man, you're crazy, this and that. His ass he talked me into a triathlon too.
What? You've done triathlon?
I done one. I ain't gonna do it again.
Yes.
Black people don't swim.
Yeah,
so
I was like, oh, swimming.
That's really difficult. I made sure I did the one in the canal. Even though the canal is nasty, I just knew if I got tired, my black ass could walk.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I was in there pedaling.
Oh my God.
I was doggy pedaling some and then walking on the bottom. I felt so nasty after that race, but it was cool.
Gross.
It was cool to do. But
how far did you have to swim in that one?
I couldn't even tell you. I started at the part, the bridge that's over the canal.
There's a lot of those.
The one where the pedal boats are.
Sure, yes.
A little bit behind that, and we had to swim to the front of the NCAA building. And then the full distance is at the very, very back where they had the waterfall.
Yeah.
And then all the way to front. I would have drowned.
Yeah, I don't do swimming very well either.
Now, I will say, for the record, I can swim, and I can swim for a black person.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about, like, time, like, anybody can run, but if you're running for time, there's a little difference. Just like swimming. I can swim, but I can't, like, swim for a time like I'm Michael Phelps or anything.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you how fast I swim.
Yeah, exactly.
No idea. Yeah.
So that part, I was just trying to survive. I didn't train for it. I was just trying to survive, and then we got on the bike. I don't even know how to ride a bike. I mean, I know how to ride a bike, but not like a mongoose. Not
like to be efficient and
not like
race
those.
A bike.
Yeah, not those speed bikes or anything like that.
Yeah,
I was on his wife's mountain bike, just cruising.
I've done a triathlon on a mountain bike as well because I'm like, I'm gonna buy a bike.
And then the run part was cool. I was fine at that. But so it originally happened, talked me into a race because my brother, not my brother, my friend's brother was an intern for the Indy Mini, and he had free entry. And he had 2 of them. I signed me and my guy up through his entry. But then COVID happened.
Oh.
And then that's when he said, let's just do a marathon. And I was like, bro, I haven't ran a half marathon. How am I going to run a marathon? I can barely survive a 5K. And then, so I guess you could say my first distance race was Fort Bend.
Okay.
Because it's on the generic training plan that Coach makes for the Monumental.
Oh, okay.
So if you go to the Monumental website, Coach has a training plan that you can download for free.
Okay.
And then he has all the descriptions of the type of runs, which I don't know what those were. I still don't know what they are today. I was like, how do I run this? He said, run it like this at this rate, heart rate, blah, blah. I was like, so run fast? Got it. So I didn't follow that plan at all. I just followed the mileage on that plan. And then everything was on a treadmill, like I said. So Fort Bend, it was my first like distance race, if you count it. But I never really looked at it like that. It was more like a training run for me because I was just there for my long run for that week.
That's so weird. So wait, was it only was it 13.1 was your training run, or did you have a training run where you ran after you were done?
No, that was it.
Okay, that's
nice.
So at least you didn't have to.
Because the way the plan's set up online, once you when you print it off or whatever, it will make it like the race. It will make it like it's your race that week. So your long run that week will be the Fort Bend.
That's
race.
Cool.
I think that's how you get people to buy into the Fort Bend too.
I kind of like that. Thanks, Matt. Yeah. I should probably know this, but about that. But that's cool. It's a great event. It's so fun.
I hate that course.
Okay, fine.
It is tough. It's tough.
There's one hill. Come on.
Well, the first time I ran it, I didn't know anything about hills.
Oh,
so
well, yeah.
My friend, I'm going out the gates hard. I don't know what I'm getting into, and then he's like, "Hey, slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit." We're like 2 miles in. He said, "All right, just go," because he knows he can't control me for too long. I just take off, and you get that one hill, like kill the hill, and at that point, my life flashed before my eyes, and I thought, I'm not cut out for this ever again. Like, I died. I legit died on that hill. I walked. I was wheezing. I have asthma, and I was like,
oh, no.
If you had a camera on me, I was probably making the ugliest faces, too.
Yeah.
And so after that race, it was like a 1:24 or something. Yeah, I think it was 1:24.
Okay.
And my friend was like, that's a really good time.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting you to do that good. And I was like, is 1:24 good? Like, I don't know times or anything like that. He said, well, if you look at it, if you ran that and you ran another half, it's like 2:48 or 2:52. But the rule of thumb is, I guess, you take your half, add it, and then do plus 10. And that's pretty much what I got at the Monumental. I got 2:58 even my first Monumental.
Interesting. I've never heard that, but that.
Yeah,
that's too much math for me at this moment.
It's just one way to guess.
Right.
It's not. There's no real science to it. But you can have a fast half and have a slow marathon, or you can have a slow marathon and have a fast half. It just depends. Everybody's different.
Yeah. What year was that, Fort Bend?
Let's see.
Would that be 21? Did we have it 21?
It'd be 21.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was there. I don't remember. It's hard. The years kind of start to blur together. But okay, so you did Fort Bend in 1:24, and you had no idea. Did you win like an age group award or anything? You had to have.
I don't recall. No, I mean, nobody told me I did. I didn't think I did. I think I finished like, I think I was happy with like top 25 or top 50, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
And then did you do Monumental in 21 or?
Yeah.
So that.
November of 21.
Was that your first marathon then?
Yeah, that was my first marathon.
Okay.
So.
And you qualified, and you ran a sub 3. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. But you just said that. Never mind.
Yeah,
it wasn't a spoiler.
2:58 even. I didn't know what I was doing either.
That's crazy.
I like.
What about fueling? Were you doing anything at all with fueling?
So that's when I was taking goo.
Okay.
I could never take that again.
After
trying Morton. What? After trying Morton, I don't think I could ever leave Morton, to be honest.
That's bougie, fancy Morton. I don't mind it. The caffeine ones I can't tolerate. They don't taste good to me.
They don't.
The regular ones kind of taste like marshmallow to me, so I don't hate it.
The last couple of weeks I've experimented with caffeine. I've done some research into the caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been a caffeine person either. I usually just take the regular gels. But I have experimented with caffeine the last couple of weeks. I want to do something like where I do caffeine, regular caffeine.
Right.
And go that route.
Yeah.
But we'll see how the stomach acts in a long run. That's the key, right?
Uh-huh.
But that race was so cold. My fingertips were frozen. Like, I don't know much about gloves at that time, so I got some gloves.
Yeah.
It was so cold I couldn't reach into my little running fanny pack to get my gels toward the end.
Yeah.
So I was stuck. Like, I remember the last 3 miles, I kind of did like some runner's math. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
I would walk, stretch, because I felt like at that time if I ran all the way through, I was going to like really lock up and be stuck. So I would jog, walk, stretch, jog, walk, stretch, do it that way. So I left a lot of time. I left some time out there for sure.
Yeah.
It should have been faster than 2:58, which is crazy to believe.
Yeah.
And then after that, I train for Boston, which was a wake up for me because at that point I'm training by myself. My friend didn't qualify for it. So I'm stuck training in the winter, dark and cold. And that time I actually did transition outside a little bit more, but not too much more. And I was still, and then even when the weather was bad, I wasn't like 9 degrees out. I'm not running that. Now I will. It's no big deal. But I was doing 20 miles on the treadmill and things of that nature. And I remember the first week I hit 60 miles on a training week. I thought I was going to die. That's 60 miles right now I'm done with 60 miles halfway through my Thursday run nowadays. And I remember 60, I used to be falling asleep at my desk hitting 60 for a week. So, and that's when I was at the low 50s going into the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a big change.
Yeah.
Then Boston came, and at that point, I really thought about not running again. Our first Boston, that killed me. It was so cool, though, but I got the dizzies. Last mile and a half, 2 miles, I was like throwing up in my mouth a little bit. It was
no.
It was disgusting.
Rob.
It was bad. I had all the cramps, things like that. And I didn't know all this about Boston. Like, they put you in a field in the middle of nowhere before the race, the Athletes Village, which is Boston is not set up for you to be. All these majors are not set up for you to be successful in a way. They make you sit around for hours before you run. It's not efficient at all. Yeah. It's nothing like going to Monumental, getting out of the car,
beautiful,
walk up to and
like boom.
Majors are really a headache.
Yeah,
it's more about just getting your star than it is actually having a real efficient race.
Yeah,
because you're sitting out there. It's cold. That year it was super cold. It actually snowed the day before, a little bit with flurries. So you're sitting out there freezing.
Jeez, that's
on
in April?
On a tarp, with your stuff in your hand and everything you take with you to Athlete Village. You either donate it or you're gonna run with it. So if you mess around and bring your gear drop bag, like I had a teammate do,
oops,
you gotta find. Hopefully you can find a house that's local.
You can go back to, or give it to a stranger and be like, please.
Yeah, pretty much.
Me. Yeah.
So at that point, once again, I'm new at running. I have an Apple Watch. I'm training with Apple Watch. So
gosh, I remember hearing you say that, and I was like, what?
So I'm over here in Athlete Village. What am I gonna do for hours? I'm texting my wife, just chilling, just killing the nerves, killing my battery. The last mile and a half, my Apple Watch dies. I don't know what the time is. And I'm so irritated about it because this is. Oh,
I would be losing my mind.
This is my worst race too. It was 3 even, 3-0-0-0-0.
Which is, not cool because you didn't want it to be, but that's hard to do.
Yeah, just and it was kind of funny because my first race was a 2:58.00.
You said even, yeah, that's.
So.
That's a weird.
It sucks because if I knew how close I was, I would have pushed even harder, even though I was emptying everything.
Yeah.
But. So that's my worst race.
Yeah.
3 even. And I always tell myself people would kill for that race, and I'm over here dang, that sucks.
Well, especially the more people I talk to, it's all relative, and everyone's just trying to do their best. And so when it's not your best, of course it's frustrating. Mm-hmm. And so it was really cold that year. It didn't rain that year, right? 22.
No, it didn't rain that year. Well, I guess. It did kind of drizzle the day before with a little bit of a flurry. So it was muddy out there in the village. Then my second year, it rained second year, 23.
23. Is that the year Des won? Which year did Des win?
That's before I was in the running game.
What year was that? Sorry, I digress.
No, you're good.
Okay, so it rained. I'm just trying to remember. It's funny, because you can kind of remember the years based on what weather day it was there.
23 was when the GOAT was there, Kip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The hills got him bad.
Yeah.
He had a tough year.
I can't. Well, I hope to get to Boston someday.
It's fun. Honestly, I would go. I would like to go to watch.
Yeah, spectate. I would love it. I know I would.
This year when I went, I did take a lot. I had a lot of business to take care of. I met with some people. just some networking.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 days I was there, it was like a straight business trip. So that was a lot. And then I ended up getting sick the night of the race. I had a fever going into the race. It was a low grade, but then by the time I got done with the race, I was like at a 102. And I was it was
Did
just
you go to
bad.
the med tent?
Oh, yeah. You haven't heard about the med tent story?
No. Tell us the med tent story.
I'm going to get so much.
I've been in med tents too, so.
I've got cooked on this so many times.
Cooked. This is the first time you said cooked. You are. I like how you say cooked, by the way.
Oh, man.
Cooking. All right. People are going to cook you. Tell us the story.
So I get to the finish line this year. Like, I got the dizzies again. It's like almost like year one for me. And I dropped because I know I don't feel good. Like, I'm legit don't feel good. This is a different type of don't feel good.
Yeah.
And my legs are locked up. I'm severely cramping. They take me to the med tent. And I will say this year compared to the first time I went, it was like a war zone there. Like, somebody actually, because it was really hot this year.
Oh, yes.
It was really hot this year. A lot of people have the same problem in Carmel. Because I remember seeing the results in Carmel. I was like, man, these are kind of slow, like compared to what we're used to seeing.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I'm checking the temperature at Boston. I'm like, dang,
This is not good.
I'm about to have the same look. It's about to be ugly. At that point, you can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
And I made a business decision at mile 16. I'm running with my boy Colin Trent.
Oh, I know Colin.
Yeah, good guy.
I used to work with Colin.
Really?
Yes. I need to get him on this podcast.
I love Colin. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
You'll love him. We're side by side, and it's mile 16. I was like, man, I got 3 miles left of me.
This episode is also brought to you by Cure Hydration. Cure is a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar. It's natural, delicious, and a convenient way to keep you and your whole family hydrated without the artificial stuff. What do you know? Right before I left for Vegas, my variety pack of Cure Hydration arrived, and I was so glad because I've gone to Vegas a couple of times for this race, and I just can't seem to stay hydrated enough when I'm out in the desert. So I grabbed a fistful of these Cure packets to put in my luggage, and I had some on the way out there and sprinkled the rest in throughout the trip while I was there to stay as hydrated as I possibly could. I love that it's a clean way to stay hydrated. It's clean ingredients with no added sugars. So it has high quality ingredients like coconut water powder and pink Himalayan salt. So that way, you know, you're not adding a bunch of extra junk and you're just adding some great flavor to your water to make it easier to continue to stay hydrated. I really like the pomegranate berry flavor is my favorite, but I haven't had a flavor I dislike. So in the variety pack, they have berry pomegranate, strawberry kiwi, lemonade, and watermelon. My favorite is the berry pomegranate so far. I don't know, that between that and the watermelon, lemonade's good too. Even my husband liked the lemonade. I had him try it. So if you would like to give Cure Hydration a try, for Finish Lines and Milestones listeners, that is you, Cure is offering 20% off your first order. Stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/AllieB, ALLYB, and use promo code AllieB at checkout. That's curehydration.com/AllieB and use code AllieB for 20% off your first order.
It's mile 16. I was like, man, I got 3 miles left of me. And if you do the math,
do that math.
you're not gonna make it. So it's either keep pushing the way I was pushing, and I was gonna go 19. Or I was gonna get DNF, and I was like, DNF's not an option. I'm gonna get my medal. If I paid all this money to come to Boston, I'm gonna get my medal. So I remember at one point I sat down. Somebody had like a chair that you use for baseball games.
Yeah, a soccer mom chair.
Yeah.
Sure.
They sat down. I sat down in the chair. They gave me a popsicle, put some water on my head. I was like, they said, you good? I said, yeah. I'm just going to chill for a second. I legit sat in their chair, chilled for about a few seconds. Like, I'm not feeling good. So at the end of the race, I get to the finish line. It happens.
How do you get to the finish line?
Skill, baby. I'm just kidding. Prayer.
Yeah. One foot.
Yep, left
front
foot,
of the other.
left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
Yeah.
But no, I get to the finish line, and this happens to a lot of runners. You just get the Bambi legs, and you just black out a little bit, and that's what happened. I'm falling over. I'm laying on the ground. They're like, "You good?" I was like, "No, I'm not good. I'm not good at all."
In what way do you think I'm good? In the fact that I'm on the ground?
Yeah,
right now,
like
too? Yeah.
I'm dying.
Nope.
And But I will say, like, on the course, I ran past somebody getting, like, help from the ambulance, like, on the course. Like, people were dropping, like, flies this past Boston.
That happens.
It was the heat was a real thing. So I get to the med tent. I did hear somebody call a code. Somebody coded back there. They didn't die, but it was a lot.
That's insane.
It was definitely scary back there. But they could tell. They hooked me with IV and stuff like that. And it's like, you feel like really warm. They gotta take your temperature. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I opened up my mouth. They're like,
oh no, yeah.
Like,
I know what you're gonna say. That's not good.
They're like, sir, this is more invasive than that.
Oh no.
I'm like, what you mean? And they was like, And I was like, oh no. And like I'm trying.
Why?
I'm laying down on this cot. I'm trying to pull my tight spandex shorts down, so, and I'm cramping in my my hip flexors and stuff.
Cut off my clothes.
And I'm like, I'm barely rolled over, and they're taking the temperature. That was a very weird moment in my life.
Yeah.
What sucks is, shortly after that, I get another guy next to me, and I'm laying down, and same thing happened to him, and he turns toward me. And they got the temperature. I was like, oh, no. Yeah. I looked the other way.
Don't make eye contact with me while this is happening.
I turned the other way.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make that eye contact. It was so awkward.
That is so funny.
So, yeah, I've got cooked so many times for that.
I wonder, well, it's because I've been in med tents. I was in one, the most recent time was after New York in 2018. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if they did that, but I remember that was where it was going to happen. Maybe I did. I don't know. If I did, I totally have erased it from my memory.
They say it's the most accurate, unfortunately.
I've never even done that to my kids.
Yeah, so neither have I.
I mean, because that is true. Like, if you want the most accurate, but I'm like, I don't really.
And like, sir, you have a 102, and then I was like real dizzy, and I couldn't even form a sentence all the way. So they called the wife, things of that nature. It was funny because the first time I went to Boston, I went to Med 10 and everything as well, and I space calling the wife part, and my wife, we're playing hopscotch between phones. I'm calling her phone from different people, and we finally got together like almost an hour after the race.
Yeah.
This time it was better organized by me. Hopefully I don't have any more med tip visits.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's like no shame in going to the med tent because it's like, well, clearly you gave it everything that you had. But yeah, I remember being embarrassed by that, being like, I can't believe that I had ended up in the med tent. Like, what did I do wrong? But it was just kind of like, I don't know. I just gave it everything. And then I couldn't catch my breath at the end of New York. I just couldn't breathe. I felt it was very.
I get it.
It's like,
yeah.
And I think it was more anxiety ridden than it was anything like physical for some reason. I don't know. You think I'd have relief after being done.
There's no knock on anybody if you ask me. If you go to Med 10, you go to Med 10.
Get the help you need.
It all comes with the game. Like, we're in a territory where we're pushing our bodies to the limit. Yeah. Some people's bodies just sometimes fold on them. Some people's bodies do better. I mean, I would never knock somebody for going to a Med 10.
Me either.
I mean, what's the point of that anyway?
Plus, they take great care of you.
Yeah, they do.
By the way, they'll give you whatever you need.
I got a full Gatorade bottle instead of a cup of Gatorade.
Exactly.
So
I know. You're like, and they give you a cot or whatever. And
that's another thing. I couldn't stop shivering.
Oh, yes.
I was shivering super bad. So I got warm blankets.
Yes.
And the thing was, I wanted to just fall asleep. They wouldn't let me fall asleep, but they kept making sure I was up. But I was shivering super bad.
Yeah, like I can. Yeah, been there too. Sadly, and Warzone is the perfect way to describe it because it looks like I would envision a war tent.
It was crazy. Yeah, they had like their own. They had like an own ICU unit on there.
Right, like they have different tents for different. I had Jennifer Connor was on this podcast. She volunteered in a med tent actually at Boston this year. And she said it was like, it was wild experience.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, it's like a war zone. That's all I could describe it to.
Was she there this year as well? Mm-hmm. Okay. Does she go? She'll come every time you go?
The wife is at every race.
Yeah. Well, it seems like she has to be now. She like does everything. The wifeager. I heard. Yeah. Her.
She's pretty much manager. She handles everything. So I run everything past her.
So speaking of like business part of the trip, are you sponsored yet? Is that part of what you're talking about when you talk about like making it a business kind of a trip? Are you going that route?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not on like some celebrity status or like influencer or even like a super fast guy status or anything like that. But what I do have is a good personality, and I do know how to talk to people with respect and work into business deals. I mean, I'm a business major and things of that nature. So like right now, Pioneers clothing line out in Boston, the owner, Sid Baptista, I work with him. I mean, I get all my gear from them for free.
I've never heard of Pioneers.
Yeah, it's a black-owned, one of the first black-owned
cool.
athletic running apparel. It's more got like a street look to it. It's not your typical like Tracksmith or something like that nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's creative. It's really cool.
Look it up.
Yeah, my boy Sid, he took care of me. I got there, and I've gotten packages at the door just of free merch. It's nice to wear, and I can go to the website and fill up my cart whenever I want, and it's all free. It's different than like an ambassador. Like ambassadors, they get their like little coupon code and stuff like that. Like no, my stuff's like legit.
Yeah,
100%. So it's nice.
That's really cool.
That's thousands of dollars right there.
That's incredible. So that's really cool. That's black owned. I want to hear about the Black Unicorn.
Yeah,
because I didn't know that was a thing, and that's really cool.
So the Black Unicorn, I mean, as you know, black people in general, it's not big in the marathon world. And if so, not that many black people can qualify for Boston. I mean, Boston in general is a fast race, right? So you got to think about it. Only about 1% to 2% people can run a sub-3 anyway. So there's not that many black people running in general. To then be part of that 1% to 2% that's running a sub-3, it makes a very slim margin of people that can qualify for Boston as far as like African Americans.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the Black Unicorn event is about. It's about bringing together all the African Americans under one roof and celebrating us and our small population into the running world. Yeah. Because there's not really many, like, I can tell you right now, I'm almost I'm either number 1 or top 2 African American every race I run in Indy for sure.
You, Mark Glover?
Yeah.
How do you guys do against each other? I don't remember times either, so.
I mean, Mark Glover's my boy. There's different levels though.
Yeah.
He not up there with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got love for him though. He's good. I mean, I would say though, out of the Masters people, he's probably top African American in Indy. Yeah. But I can go to any race in Indiana, and I'm most likely going to be the top black guy or top 2. Every time I go to a race, I'll tell coach, like, see, I was top 5 African American, top 5 this.
Why don't more black men run?
And I've talked to coach about this. And with me personally, why I was turned off against running and things like that, it's not flashy, it's not cool. If you think about the African American culture, we like a little flash. I mean, look at track and field. Those guys got tats, they got the chains, they got all that. You don't see that in long distance. You see skinny Caucasians with these short shorts on and these tank tops. That's it. You don't see anything. When you look at runner, you do not, I want to be like that. But you see Noah Lyles.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
You see those guys off sprint, and you're like, dang.
Yeah,
that looks cool.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
We need him to run marathons. Then
Exactly. So when I came into it, that was my little thing. Like, even though I was new, I didn't know anybody. I came out there with my own logo, came out with the tattoos, I had the necklace, and I've had several like my black friends say, "Man, you made running look cool." I'm not saying like I'm the poster child for running and making it look cool, because other people do too. But like on the black side, like black people are gonna look up to other black people. They could see a Caucasian person doing it, which is cool, but it doesn't resonate with them as much. Mm-hmm. But when you see somebody that's your same color, like, dang, he does make it look cool. He puts on. And I had several people after different races, because I used to wear, before I got with Matt and PBT, I had a different singlet every race with my RJ logo.
I don't think I've seen your logo.
Yeah, I'll show you. Okay. I'll show you a picture after this. My Chicago one was really dope. I had a custom-made Boston one.
That's cool.
I wear, and like I said, like I'm not like a pro or anything, but like when I travel out of state or even to every marathon expo, you'll see me in like a RJ jumpsuit.
That's cool.
Like a Nike tracksuit. It's dope. I make sure you look good, you feel good, you run good.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yes.
And everybody knows if you look good and feel good, That's a confidence boost. No, you can't tell me that when you look good and you feel good, you don't do anything good.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
if you go to interview, you look good and you feel good, you're going to interview well, hopefully. So that's my thing. So I would say I bring a little swag to it. That's why I bring some swag. And as of right now, my stats and my ability to back it up. So I would say that that's why people resonate with me.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Yeah. So you're currently top 55 in the U.S. black men.
Yep.
What do you dream of?
I'm hoping one day to be in top 25. Number one is going to be kind of hard.
Well, I mean, you are getting older, but, you know, still.
Top 25 would be nice. At least once. Because, I mean, it's a marathon. Everybody's getting faster. Yeah. Everybody's getting better. Everybody's grinding. So eventually you're going to get past. But to at least one time crack that top 25, and I can just put that on a resume, it'd be nice to say, hey, I was top 25 at one time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to even say it now because, like, running's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you say it like that, it makes you think, like, man, there's really not that many African Americans running it then.
Yeah.
So when I run, obviously I try to do well for the family because even though I'm not getting paid for anything, but, like, I've sacrificed time. So if I've sacrificed time for my family to do this, I want to put out a good effort.
Yeah.
And my wife's always been proud of me, she says, but, like, I want to make her proud. Like, if I had to get up and take care of the girls every morning for this many months while you're out here training, you give me a dud time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but she would never say that,
right.
But that's what I would be thinking if it was the other way around.
Yeah.
I want to make the family happy, and then that includes my dad, and then I want to make coach happy. And third, I want to put on for African Americans or people of my color, because I mean, we're in this sport too.
Yeah.
So I just want to put on for us, and see how I hold up.
Yeah. What is the OTQ time?
2:18. It's probably gonna get faster before then. So
right.
I got a lot of time to cut off. But I will say, like, obviously it gets harder as you get faster. But in 2 years, I knocked off 20 minutes between my first 2 years.
And that's only 2 years of experience just in general.
And I've left a lot of time out there.
Yeah.
I haven't ran my best race yet. And even when you run your best race, you might not still PR. It's not guaranteed. You can run a great race and not PR.
Yeah.
But I will say the last year and a half, I've been dealing with, like, a foot injury. And I'm finally actually able to really, really push off my left foot now. So, and you can tell in my times. I've been running the last year and a half on one foot for the most part. I've been doing a lot of stuff with my foot, getting the toes spread out some. I had some tendonitis in there, and when you run 100-mile weeks, it's just not going to go away without you doing the extra steps. So a lot of wearing toe spacers, toe exercises, things
those
like that.
Are weird. I have some of those.
Yeah. I actually got one on right now.
In your shoe?
Yeah, in my left foot, my left shoe. So, but I'm able to actually push off of it now, and it's getting stronger. I'm actually able to bounce off of it.
Oh, wow.
Hop off of it. So I'm excited. As long as I can stay healthy, I can knock off. But in this year, I think I can be low 230, a 232, 230 guy. And then that puts everything into perspective. Then I got 2 years to really do something.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So the other marathons that you've done, you were in Berlin, right, last year? Mm-hmm. How was that experience?
Berlin was cool. It was different. I mean, different time zones.
Yeah. I've never done a race abroad. I really want to.
Yeah. So with Berlin, we kind of did it right. Well, I didn't do it right, but it ended up working out well. I couldn't really sleep on the plane, so I stayed up a lot on the plane. But when I got to Berlin, I took some coffee, stayed up all night, and then went to sleep. And it allowed me to the schedule didn't flip at all. It was pretty perfect the way I played it. But Berlin was cool. I mean, with me and the way I'm so picky with, like, my eating disorder and things like that, it's kind of hard for me to try new things. So I ate at Hard Rock Cafe 4 times while I was there. Same meal.
You got to know what you're going to get, and then you're like, this works.
Grilled chicken every time.
Okay.
That's what I ate the whole time I was in Berlin outside of the race. I do love pretzels.
I was going to say, like, you didn't have a pretzel.
Oh, I had soft pretzels. They had
good.
soft pretzels for breakfast. They served it for breakfast in, like, the hotel.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's great. Yeah. So talk about your eating disorder. How long have you struggled with that?
I mean, being overweight as a child. So when I say overweight, I wouldn't say like crazy overweight or anything like that. It's more so like I had the friends that play sports and I play sports. I spend time at their house. They can eat whatever. And then I think I can eat whatever. And I didn't have metabolism like them.
Yeah.
And they're running around with six packs. I'm the guy at the pool parties that was sucking it in and then getting so bloated. And I couldn't wait to jump in the pool so I could breathe. Like, or swimming with the shirt on.
Yeah.
That was me growing up. And I'd never really felt comfortable until maybe my senior year of high school. But then you go to college and then you're done playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just working and eating,
Freshman
and eating.
15, man.
Well, I got up to like 202, something like that.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective. I was 202. I ran my first marathon at 148.
Yeah.
And I didn't weigh 148 until I weighed 148 like in 7th grade, 6th grade type thing. So I lost a lot of weight. But orthorexia nervosa, it's about you have an eating disorder, but the thing is you eat healthy, but you're concerned on eating solely on health food and little amounts of it because you still have that eating disorder in a way that you don't want to eat too much. So everything I eat is healthy, but it's more on a lesser. Like the way Coach described it, which he said I remind him of some of the middle school girls he used to coach, things of that nature. Because yeah. I'm over here, for example, 100-mile weeks. I'm taking in less than 1,000 calories a day.
Like, I just don't even know how.
Yeah, less than 1,000 calories a day. And honestly, I haven't changed that much. I'm up to, give or take, between 12 and 13. It's not a lot more, but it's an increase. I'm making baby steps. It is a lot.
Yeah.
Taper time, it really messes me up.
Because you're not putting in all the miles that you normally
Yeah,
would be.
and the working out. Like, I'm more of a workout to earn my food type person.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then taper time, you think you're just eating all these carbs, eating all this and that. And what I've done is I eat my carbs, but I eat them in ways to make me think that I'm not eating too much. So, like, you can eat rice cakes all day. You're not going to feel like you're eating too much. Yeah. I can kill some rice cakes. some goldfish.
Okay.
These are my ways to get my carbs in outside of, like, eating baguettes from Panera or breadsticks from Papa John's.
Yeah.
These are my ways to help with my mental. I do some pretzels, little carb snacks that don't come off as big. That's what I do a lot. Even I don't even like eating in public as much. And then when people have bad food around me, it's fine. But when they try to put it on me, as in like try this, it gets me hot.
Like, I'm good, and you're like, it gets physically warm.
Yeah, it gets me hot. Anxiety wise, I have like anxiety about that. Or like, if you look it up, it says this is one of the symptoms, which is ironic because this week I had a work conference and we had to go out for dinner. The whole time I'm thinking about like, man, I don't want to go out to dinner. Like, people don't judge, but then they're like, why is he not eating? Things like that. Or why won't he try this? And I just get hot all day. I'm thinking about this all day. I'm thinking about dinner all day. And it's like 9 a.m. I'm thinking about how I'm going to say, oh, I'm good, I'm not hungry, type in front of people.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it got really bad during my injury this summer. Actually, backtrack. It was to a point that it was so bad. I was on a schedule of eating like grilled chicken one day, turkey the next day, grilled chicken, turkey. And then one day my wife decided to help me out because I usually cook my own meals just because I know the oils and stuff. I put my own. Like, that's another thing that's big in this with this disorder. Like, you want to know what's going into your food. You want to know the ingredients, this and that. She helped me out. God bless her soul. She cooked me like grilled chicken, but it was a turkey day. Like I honestly couldn't function. It really messed me up that night. And she was so sorry. I was messed up. Like, I wasn't even happy eating because just wasn't what I was supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And that means I had to eat it again tomorrow too because to get back on schedule.
Right.
That's how crazy it was for me.
What is it called again?
Orthorexia nervosa.
How did you figure out, like, how did you know, okay, this isn't like normal? And then how did you figure out that's what you were?
Well, that situation, my wife made me go to a doctor after that. Yeah. So, and after that, I got put on some meds. That was
like meds, like anti-anxiety type stuff.
Yeah, and that was actually It was right after the 22 Monumental.
Okay.
That was the half. And then that year, I remember I was just like real distant from people. I wasn't myself, wasn't talkative. I didn't go to family Thanksgiving. I didn't want to go. Didn't want to be around the food. Like even at Thanksgiving now, I'm around people. I don't eat anything they eat. I mean, I eat my ground turkey or grilled chicken still, but I'm still able to be around them. That year I was just off. It just wasn't right. There were some dark times, even outside the eating part. I wouldn't say anything like suicidal, but I did have some parts like I was okay with not living again. Like I would talk to her, like I would just break down, and I'm just not right. Like my balance was off.
Yeah.
Coach knew it. I knew it. Like I was not in the right place. So, and then even up in the medicine, and then one time I tried a cold turkey, get off of it.
Oh yeah, you're not. Yes.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll drop. I dropped. I like dropped in the room, and she's talking to me. My head's spinning. I'm just like mumbling, not even making sentences. So, you have that, and then I get over that. I'm not on medicine no more, so I'm good. I mean, I've got to a point to where like, I still get distant here and there. It's not so from her. It's more so like other people.
Yeah.
Which is it's actually kind of a good thing sometimes. I like having a small circle.
Yeah.
But like this summer with the injury and stuff, I had a situation like where I have a sauna, and like you're not doing a lot, and I feel like I need to stay in shape for when I get back, so I don't skip a beat. And I just overheated from the sauna. I haven't ate all day, and I saunaed. It was the second time I saunaed. This was like the evening time, and I go take a shower. Next thing I know, I wake up, I'm on the floor, and she said, "Do you know where you're at?" I said, "No." I said, "I was supposed to take a shower." She said, "You're like I smoked the floor. Like I hit my head on the floor. I had a concussion, passed out."
Rob.
Yeah. So I mean, moral of the story is eat your food, people. No matter, even if you have a disorder, eat what you need to at least, or at least try to. So injuries are not fun. Injuries help like spark a lot of bad things.
Yeah. Well, at least you are open about it. Thanks for talking about it.
Yeah, no problem.
That's really hard.
Yeah,
to go through. I'm sure it still is really hard.
And what I try to do, I try to eat. I try to be more lenient, definitely in front of my girls. I mean,
that's
if you
hard.
think about it, that's big. So a lot of guys won't come out about this. And I've talked about this in other podcasts. A lot of guys won't go seek help. Right. If a guy does it comes off as a weakness, or they're not manly enough, things of that nature. And that's just not true. Like, everybody's mental has a hole in it somewhere. And that was the hole in mine, and it got exploited, and then it just went downhill bad to where we're talking about death. Right. But now, like, I'm trying to eat, like, a little bit of ice cream from the kids, even though I don't want to, or a little sweets. Let them know that's okay. I mean, like, because, you know, on the ladies' side, that's a big thing in a way.
Yeah.
So I want them to be able to be okay, have a good relationship with food.
Yeah, right. It's good that you're thinking about that too for them, because I remember growing up, we had like no sweets in our house. My mom's like equivalent, because she's just really healthy, and you know, I've never really talked to her about like food like that. Like, did she have any sort of like disordered eating with food? But we had like these Snackwell's cookies that were just really gross, frankly. I think about them now, it's probably like tastes like chemicals. Like, it's not even like chocolate really. And so I grew up like that. And then I got to college. I didn't have the best relationship with food in college. I went to Miami of Ohio. Okay. And I actually have heard, I don't know if this is still a stat, but like they were one of the, if not the worst college in the country for eating disorders. Wow. I didn't even know that going in.
That's crazy.
And just because a lot of the women there are, you know, they really care about looks and whatever. And so I went through some years of really hard times with food too. Yeah. And I never was diagnosed with anything, but I knew it wasn't normal. And I also, like, with drinking in college, like, I would not eat so that I could drink more, like the calories, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to drink, or I'm not going to eat, because then I can have like one more beer or whatever it might be.
I will say I'm a cheap date now, because
I bet.
Well, I tell you, one is good enough for me.
Yeah.
One, maybe two. I mean, for some reason, after a race, though, my tolerance is a little higher.
That is
which
weird.
is crazy.
You think it'd be the opposite?
Yeah. So, like, this year at Boston, we celebrated, and I tried to drink my sorrows away. I was sober as can be. My wife, on the other hand, she's popped. It's just funny because she's part Asian, so she has this Asian flush. Have you heard about that?
She's part Asian. Yeah, my roommate in college was Korean.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They drink. Oh, yeah. They get red splotches everywhere.
I was like, what's happening to you? Like, when it first happened, I'm like, not.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
But now, I don't really. I could probably count on my hands how many times I drink a year, because I don't like to drink during a training block unless it's like on a special occasion, or like maybe like tomorrow. I think we're having wine because we're having Valentine's Day dinner at the house. Her and I, we're just having like spaghetti, but we're having some wine. But in general, I don't drink during a training block. No fast food, really no pizza. I'm pretty clean through a training block. And then right after a race, like for Monumental this past year, I had a large pizza, margarita, and breast sticks. And the next day I had the same exact order. Like, I was going in on pizza. Yeah. So that's what I do. I pig out the first 2 or 3 days after a race, and after that, wash the system out with a bunch of water, and we go from there.
Yeah. Do you have a therapist? Like, how do you continue to figure this out?
I did. I pretty much I worked myself out of that in a way for where I didn't have to go anymore. I mean, I could probably benefit from going, but no, it's kind of funny. Now I'm a mental aid. I'm mental health certified through work. CPR. It's kind of like CPR, but it's mental health.
Interesting. Okay.
Since I'm in the HR field, we deal with employees. Employees have.
Okay, I didn't know you were in HR.
Yeah, employees have their own life situations.
Sure.
Typical to mine. And it was ironic because, like, shortly after I started this job, I had an employee that left a note, and he was going to end his life, and that's crazy. And I was like, man, I just went through all this. And shortly after that, our job indicated mental health training. I was like, I'm going to get on this.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that I heard in that class, like, man, I know all these signs. Like, this was me.
Right.
Now I can help managers look for this in their employees. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's a very intriguing class to take.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I'm just so thankful that now we talk about mental health, because it used to be just like so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you couldn't, again, weakness. Like, you can't talk about that because it means you're weak in some way.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's fugazi. Not a real thing. It's just an excuse.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, well, and I think about running and how mental the sport is. It's like, if you're not mentally strong, you're not going to go anywhere in the sport.
That's for real. So I tell people the running part's actually easier. The mental part,
1,000%.
getting locked in. There was one race. It might have been. It was the 23 Monumental. My mom. So my mom's passed. She passed last March. But so right after Berlin last year, that was actually really the last time we all got together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And in October, so Berlin's in September, October, shit hit the fan with her, and she had a seizure, dropped, brain swelled up. She never spoke again or really ever moved. She was pretty much on bed rest for the rest of her life at that time. Half her skull was missing, and I spent every single day in the hospital with her. Like, I was training for the 2023 Monumental. Like, I'd run my doubles around the hospital outside.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, when she was doing that. And so it was the first time I ever lost my mental in a race. Like, because we ran past, she was a veteran, so we ran past the VA hospital, and we ran past another facility that she was at downtown during Monumental. And the day before the race, I spent all day with her because I had the day off, and I was always up there anyway, so I stayed the whole day with her. And it's kind of hard to get hyped for a race, and you're sitting there next to your mom that's barely even alive at that time. And then, so we do that, and I'm like, the next morning, I'm in the elite corral warming up, and I have a breakdown. I look at my wife, I'm like, I don't want to run. I don't want to race this. I want to go home. I want to go to my mom. Sound like a little kid. I want to go to my mom.
Yeah.
I'm like crying. And then coach yells down there, elite runners, blah, blah. And he's like, come on. And I was like, she said, it's go time. And I'm like, One of the things I say a lot is like, F it, we here. Like, we here now, we got to do it.
Yeah.
You get to the start line, you have all this doubt. You wonder if your training went well, and you're like, F it. Like, you're here.
Yeah.
We got to do this. So I'm walking up to him. I'm clearing my eyes. He said, you ready? I said, yeah, I got this. Race starts off like normal. I'm locked in. I'm clipping. I'm right with the elite women that are all trying to OTQ, so I'm right where I need to be. Pretty much like pacing / blocking win for them. Like, they got something bigger at hand. Like me, if I had to sacrifice some time to help these ladies out, it is what it is. So it was mile 21 or 22, and it wasn't the wall like people say.
Yeah.
It was more so like I just broke down, and it's funny because I get slack for this. Colin beat me that race. Colin Trent. He came from behind and beat me. It was after I already had my meltdown. I was crying in the race. I was running while crying.
That's hard to do.
And they always, because I always talk about the age. We bring up age, and they'll send that result of him beating me at the Monumental about like 30 seconds. It's fine, but I like to run it back when I'm locked in and he's locked in. No, I lost my mental. Like, I almost walked off the course. I've never had my mental broken in a race until that moment, and I was like, I got 3 miles left. Like, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
I did it, and then as soon as we got done, I didn't stay long. Went right to the hospital, which was right down the street.
Yeah.
Delivered the medal to her, and then it was cool. She ended up being sent home, and it was good. Then toward the end of February last year, her health started to decline, and then middle of March, it was actually right before San Costa.
Okay.
San Costa was my training race before Boston this past year, and I left for Tuesday practice, and when I left for Tuesday practice, I knew that was probably going to be the last time I saw her. And I spent the whole day with her. I left work early. I knew that was going to be it. And at practice, I broke down. Coach is there. Like I said, Coach is like another dad. And I broke down. I finished practice. I had a good practice. And I broke down a couple of times on the way back. And when I got to the parking lot, I saw my wife. And I was like, oh no. So we met at the hospital that night, and we knew the next day was probably going to be it. Because, I mean, at that point, there's no sense of keeping her around. She was gone. And we knew he was going to pull the plug. So that morning, I went in. They were going to give me an update that morning. I get a call while I'm running on the treadmill. I ignored it because I knew what it was. Like, we was going to make the decision that day. I was like, all right, I'm going to finish this out.
Yeah.
And then I had San Costa, like, 2 days later. And Coach was like, you don't need to run this. It's a training run anyway. That race, that's the only race I can really recall. Like, I don't remember anything in it.
Yeah.
It's like God had me, and my mom was right there. And I remember running that with Galloway. And we're getting closer. He was like, dude, I'm getting emotional for you. And we're yelling, like, let's go. Like, it just took over. I ran a 2-minute PR on a training run on that race.
Oh my gosh.
I ran a 1:15 in that race. And I didn't know what it was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to finish or anything.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of it as a race anyway. So if I didn't finish, I didn't really see it as a DNF in my head.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Did that. And then when I had my first official race after she, like, died, like Boston, I remember I'd always get a text from her telling me Godspeed and things like that. And she'd be proud of me. And I woke up that morning, didn't have that text.
Right.
So I wasn't feeling well. I was emotional. It just wasn't my day.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my day. But before every race, I text her every day. I talk to her every single day. I text her because my mom was real big. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
My mom was real big on texting us every night, even though we're grown men. Good night, I love you, and to the family. So I text her every night, same texts, over and over, and I text her like life updates. I have long.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there hoping for a text back one day. Yeah, but on my wrist. I got Godspeed. I tap it before every race. Or anytime something's being difficult.
Yeah.
And then I just go. That's what I do. So that's me.
It sucks. I'm so sorry.
But I mean, living through that and doing that, there's nothing harder than that. So like,
right.
Like every time I'm about to do something hard, it's like, all right, it's whatever. So, running has actually become easier since then because like I'm not gonna face anything harder than that. Hopefully, anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a way, it's kind of made me evolve into a better runner. It's kind of messed up, but that's how I look at it. And every race, I point up to her now. I wear my purple headband because that was her favorite color. So that's what happens, and that's it.
I dread the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wish it for nobody.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Sucks. Well, will you do anything next month to celebrate her? Like it's been almost a year. That's
well, I have Sam Costa that same week.
It's that same weekend.
I have Sam Costa that same weekend again, so hopefully I can do her well. I don't know if I'll have the emotional power like I did last time because it was still fresh and I was numb.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I broke down during the race this time because it'd be the 1 year.
Yeah.
Actually realizing what happened. But no, I think my brother, my dad, and I think we're going to get together on the actual day, which is the 20th, and do something in memory of her. And then hopefully I go out there and crush a race for her and have a new PR and a new shiny medal for her. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Make her happy.
She's so proud of you.
I hope I'm making her proud. I text her that all the time. So
yeah.
No matter what or however any race went, she'd always tell me she's proud. And even though I was mad that I was like, oh Mom, I left like 2 minutes out there.
Yeah.
Mom, I could have done this better. Like she was like, oh, I'm proud of you, this and that. So it was cool. And like she didn't really know much about running, so I would be telling her like I'll have this time. She's like, that's good. Like I want more than that. It was great.
You bring in the medal and she's like, did you win? Like
yeah. To her defense, I will say she'd not go that far to say did you win because at least she had some sense of it.
Yeah.
But no, but the Monumental 2023 will always still a little different because I went to the hospital and delivered her the medal and PR, and then I just laid my head on her chest. So that memory's going to stay for a while. But the last time I gave her a medal, after that, it's like she didn't know what a medal was, so it was a little different feeling. After so, well, we live when we learn. But
yeah,
I'm good. Family's good. Blessed. So
yeah. So. Jeez, it's hard to be like, well, now let's do this.
Oh yeah, let's go. I can change up real quick.
No, it's so hard going through that. I'm sorry. What military branch?
She was in the Army.
The Army.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever consider the military?
Nah, she wouldn't let us.
Okay.
she wouldn't let us at all.
Yeah.
Plus, at the time they have all those. I had asthma, 2 surgeries, screw in my shoulder, and things like that. So.
They weren't going to have you anyway.
They weren't going to have me anyway.
Because you can't have asthma, right? I think.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've always heard.
It's
so crazy because a lot of runners have asthma.
A lot of people on this podcast have had asthma.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? How is that true? Before the one thing I forgot on my list, shoes.
Shoes.
We got to talk about shoes because you love shoes. I need you to teach me how to. Don't look at these shoes I finally bought because I had to.
Are those Uggs?
Yeah, they are.
Not the off-brand.
Nope, I got the real Uggs.
You got the Uggs.
Spent the real money so I could walk to the bus stop.
For the record, I wear Uggs too.
Oh, that makes you feel better.
I get knocked on that too.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But if Tom Brady can do it, I can do it.
He wears Uggs.
He was sponsored by Uggs. He was one of the first male athletes that they had.
Get out of town. That's hilarious. I wonder how much they paid. Probably paid him a lot of money for that.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a sneakerhead, and I know that you share this with Coach Matt Ebersol because he told me when I interviewed him. But how did you get into shoes? I'm
really the plug for Matt. Well, if Matt really wants a shoe, he'll come to me, and I can make it happen.
Okay.
So I'm the plug for certain people that I can help. I'm not going to be the plug for everybody, but I can
You're
help.
the shoe dealer. You're like, hey, where can I get my shoes?
Yeah, so how I got into shoes, really? I mean, I've always had, like, a flair for style. Like, I've always liked being creative and have my own fits. And as you can see, like, I'll show you after this, like, my RJ stuff. Like, I like being flashy. That's just who I am. It just helps that I'm not too bad of a runner, so it doesn't look like I'm being extra. But I'm okay with being extra. If you don't like it, it is
like,
what it is.
Who cares? Yeah.
Most of the people that could say something to me can't beat me, so that's fine. If you can beat me, you can say a little bit, but you're still going to catch these words regardless.
Yeah.
But no, shoes. Just me and my guys in high school, we just always liked them, fantasized over them. And then I became a manager for Foot Locker.
Oh.
Then my senior year of high school / early years of college. So worked for Foot Locker, then transitioned over to Finish Line, the rival. Worked in there. So I would say in high school, I got voted most likely to have 100 pair of shoes. That was my big award in high school. So I was very close at one time to having 100. Fun fact, I sold a quarter of my collection and bought my first engagement ring for my wife. So that means a lot. I'm going to sell my shoes.
That seems like it would mean a lot.
And put a ring on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, but no, and it's crazy because R.I.P. Kobe, but I had so many Kobes that are being re-released now, and I really want them. And now people are just getting them to sell them, not really real fans.
Everything.
Yeah, they ruin it. Just like with Jordans, people do that. But no, I had a lot of heat. Man, limited edition Kobe's from different countries, limited edition Jordans, LeBrons, all that.
And when you collect them, do you wear them ever? Or are they not to wear?
Let's see. I sat outside 2011 senior year of high school, Jordan 11 Concords. The viewers might know this shoe. You probably don't
I have no
know this
idea.
shoe.
I will nod.
I sat outside for 9 hours for that shoe, and I've only worn it twice. And the first time I actually wore it was for my kid's 5th birthday, so that's still a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it really just depends. I have a pair of shoes I still haven't worn. I have several shoes I still haven't worn.
Yeah.
I used to have this rule. My rule was buy a shoe, put it on hold for 3 months, then finally wear it or eventually wear it. Because the thing is, when people get these new shoes, they wear them and beat them up. The shoes look like trash.
Yeah.
And when they're feeling down in the dust that their shoes look like trash, you see mine looking brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So like my shoes are always like a few months later than everybody's. That's when I would wear them, just to make sure they looked even more cleaner and better. My go-to shoe of my Jordans would be the Jordan 3s. I wear those a lot. Coach likes Jordan 3s. Jordan 3s are probably my favorite, and then you got the 11s, and then you could go with some 1s. Those are classic. You could rock some 1s. I could show you some 1s. We can get you in a pair of
If I know
retro
what
ones.
you're saying, I think I have some.
Okay.
Tell me what the full name is.
And they're retro, Jordan Retro 1 highs.
No, they're not. Okay, no. I thought when you said ones, that I don't.
Are you talking about Air Force ones?
Yeah, I shouldn't say things out loud because you're gonna make fun of me. Oh no, I have those.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I get it.
Probably the coolest shoes I have because I don't have any cool shoes.
You got the all white Air Force ones or the black?
They're white and they're like they've got pastel colors.
Okay.
They're cool. My brother-in-law got them for me.
As long as you don't got the all black Air Force ones, that means you in the streets.
Yeah, I
don't want those.
I could wear those.
Yeah, you don't want those.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know. I'll ask you and you tell me what shoes to buy.
Yeah, if you send me some shoes, I'll get you locked in.
Just tell me,
sure.
just be like, here, based on what I know about you, you could buy these shoes. And I'll get
Yeah, you could wear these.
Because I'm not that cool, but I'd like to think I can be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're cool.
Thanks.
I mean, you got some style. I mean, I like the boutique. I like the clothing.
Thank you.
It's funny because before I actually knew you and I saw you advertising like your logo and stuff, I was like, man, this chick trying to copy me.
You like those colors?
I mean, I like, and then you're gonna take the logo. Like I got the branded stuff. You got branded stuff.
Yeah, I know. I started putting my brand on everything.
Yep.
It's so fun.
It's cool.
It's so fun.
People notice it too,
which is crazy.
Yeah, I've been to a race before. They thought I was like, it was actually this year at Monumental.
Yeah.
Somebody really thought I was somebody. I was like, oh, that's cool with me.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'll take that
I mean,
clout.
yeah. That's
Just
so fun.
follow me on IG.
Yeah. Oh, man. I could talk to you all day. We've been talking for longer than an hour and a half already.
I know.
I could talk to you all day.
I kind of killed the vibe with being emotional.
You didn't kill the vibe at all. Everybody's going to go through that.
Yeah.
It sucks, but everybody's going to go through it.
I do want to say a quick shout out to a few people if I can.
You should.
So I got my morning crew, which is Mark Geyer and Brendan Kelly. I hit a lot of miles with them early in the morning. It's definitely helpful. I mean, nobody wants to get up at 4 and be ready to run at 5 a.m. Even though I'm left, because I usually have more miles and I'm usually by myself for the end, it does help having that company, though, for like the first 40 or 50 minutes of a run. Yeah. For sure. Definitely when it's freezing cold. Also, I want to thank my track group that I run with on Thursdays. They're my guys. We're different speeds, but I use them as rabbits on the track.
Yeah.
So I like doing my Thursday workout on the track just because it keeps us all together. Mm-hmm. Because if we run on like the nickel plate or anywhere else, we're all spread out. Yeah. And like
the nickel plate's like the Monon, right? In Fishers?
Yeah.
What track do you use?
Fishers High School track. Okay. So since I'm cool with the athletic director, he lets me on the track, so I have all access.
That's what I need to do to get on my track at my kid's school.
Yeah.
I've gotten kicked off a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. Because you can't use it during school hours. And I'm like, well,
wow.
Why? I'm a mom. Like, what am I doing? I'm just running circles. So maybe I need to find somebody that I need to befriend.
You could probably get on Fisher's track during school.
That's too far. It's like in Ohio for me.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So I run with them a lot. They help me. I mean, obviously, we're all different paces. They have different goals. We're not saying goals, but they see me pushing, it pushes them, and then I see them pushing, and I'm like, all right, I got to go catch them.
Yeah. And
make sure that they know that I'm the man. So, and then PBT-wise, obviously Coach, I ever saw, but then I got my girl Hannah. She's one of the top dogs.
What's Hannah's last name?
Bass.
Okay.
Hannah Bass, yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever met her.
Really?
Yeah.
Hannah?
I wonder if I follow her. I probably do. I feel like I just like cobble together people from PBT because I'll be like, oh, I don't know them, or I don't know.
She's right up there as far as like ladies in India's in the elite
which is
world.
Like I know nothing about because I'm not elite, right? So now that I've started this podcast and I've gotten to meet more talented runners, then I start to be more aware.
Trust me.
But before, I'm like,
I'm not in the elite world either. Like I'm just
Mr. Elite Corral, get out of town.
I'm just now starting to get into the elite corrals, which is cool. I'm not gonna lie. I had a joke this past fall after it was at the beginning of this year. We were talking about signing up for Carmel, and my friend was talking, and he was talking about signing up, and I was like, "How much was the sign up?" He said, "This much." How do you not know? I said, "Oh, my fault. It was free."
My fault. I'm really good.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there one time,
funny.
And he just gave me the side eye. We laughed. He said, "All right, I'll give you that one." Hannah, and then Mark Satterley. He's not a real big social media guy, so he probably won't even know about this. But he's been a tier above me the last year and a half, and I've been working my way to get up there to run with him. And now I'm with him in practice.
That's cool.
And now we have some battles. So he's pushing me, and I'm pushing him he's helping me.
That's cool.
It's been a great battle. So and then also my guy Galloway is there for me. He's like a big brother. I can go to him. We've had some things that work like are the same. So I'm able to vent to him. He's able to vent to me. So it's been really nice to have.
That's really cool. It's great having such an awesome team around you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you run these miles and the weird times of the days and the amounts, it definitely helps having people in your circle, no matter if it's small or big.
Yeah. That's why I'm so thankful for Strava, because at least I kind of get some like perspective on like people pushing me. Like if I see what somebody does there, I do run with other people at times, but a majority of my runs are solo.
That's
just because I do it like in the middle of the day when people who have jobs like go work.
That's funny that you bring up Strava, because I actually just like didn't delete Strava. I kind of just like went ghost on Strava. Oh. I've made my runs private. I don't get on there as much. So this past it could have been like some seasonal depression or anything like that, but I just was in a rut. I felt like I was getting stagnant. I felt like I wasn't getting better, but I was hitting times. I just wasn't feeling good about anything I was doing running. And I'm over here comparing myself on Strava. I'm like, dang, I know I'm faster than this person, but this person did this workout. And I want to be as fast as this person, but he's just getting faster, like getting in my head.
Yeah,
things like that.
That can happen. I understand.
I got off Strava, went private on my training because I didn't want comments on my training. And I've taken off. in the last month. Coaches even notice like my energy's changed. My numbers have gotten better.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
I will say. So Strava at your own risk.
That's good advice though.
Yeah.
Because people probably, they might not even be aware that they're looking and comparing themselves to, and what the impact that can have.
Yeah. When you're in a rut, that was the first thing I thought of. And when I did it, I was like, man, it feels so good.
So much better. Yeah.
At first, it was more like I stopped scrolling through Strava. And it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to give kudos. It was more so like, I just don't want to compare myself.
Right.
The only person I need to focus on is me and the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my big thing. I don't care what anybody does now.
Yeah.
It's more so I'm going to do me.
Yes.
And whatever happens, happens.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if we line up together, I'm gonna give you the business.
I'm going to give you the business.
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got to ask you the end of the podcast questions because I don't even know what time of day it is anymore.
All right.
Favorite running song and or mantra?
Favorite running song? Like it has to be about running or just
No, like what song gets you going?
Oh, man. I wouldn't say a specific song. I have artists.
Okay.
So, as you know, like I'm light skinned, so it's got to be Drake. Drake's up there for sure.
Mm.
I got Drake, Lil Baby, and then some Gunna in there. But then on the other note, I got some Shabuzi in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see, Jason Aldean. I listen to some country on my. So I don't ever listen to music when I run.
Okay.
But every now and then when I run my doubles in the afternoon, it's an easier, chill run. I do listen to country on my runs because it's not gonna give me hype.
Yeah, you're just gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just relaxed.
Just hanging out.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Some Kane Brown in there.
Okay.
I listen to a little pop, whatever my girls throw in. But if it's like straight hype for a race,
yeah,
it's gonna be Drake, Lil Baby, Gunna, and actually you can throw Future in there as well. And then mantra. It's funny because I said this practice on Tuesday, and coach, we had a hard workout. And he was talking about take it easy, this and that. I was like, I die. I die. We're going to do this. I say that a lot, and F it, we here.
Yeah.
And then my go-to one for every race, though, in general, is look good, feel good, run good.
Yeah.
Because I like to make sure the headband's swagged out. I like to make sure my fit looks good. I mean, if I'm looking good, I'm gonna have a good race, hopefully.
What shoes do you race in?
I'm an Asics guy.
You are?
It's funny because I'm super Nike everything.
I know. I would have guessed.
I'm super Nike everything, but Asics guy. Now, if I do wear Nikes, it's the Vaporfly, and I wear that in the half.
Okay.
I'm not really a marathon guy in the Vaporfly, but I would wear it in the half. I wore it in the half, actually, twice.
Okay.
But it's more so Asics Sky.
Gotcha. I've never tried those.
Oh, you got to try it.
I'm a Saucony girl. I love the Asics Gel Nimbus for like my everyday like training
That's a good shoe.
But I've never used an Asics like race shoe.
I probably get a new shoe like every month and a half.
Oh.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
So like right now my go-to like speed training shoe.
Yeah.
I do like it. It's not as good. I like the 3 better, the Saucony Endorphin.
Yeah.
The 3 was better. It's a little bit wider.
Okay.
It's narrow in the 4, but the 4 still pops. And I can't believe I'm saying this. The Hoka Mach X too.
Oh yeah.
That thing bangs. Like
okay.
I've put in some fast times in that shoe.
Those rub my ankle weird.
They rub my Achilles weird.
Yeah.
From first breaking them in, they definitely did.
Okay. Maybe I just need a break. I have some. Which ones did I get?
But outside the Hoka Mach X2, I would never wear Hoka.
Yeah.
Ever. You're never going to catch me wearing Hoka.
Yeah, I have the ones because of the colorway that had like, it was like the 80s colorway. This like hot pink, like cerulean blue and purple. That was like those old 80s like cup look. And I was like, I have to have these because of the colorway. But I don't ever wear them because they rub my feet.
I could not do some Hokas.
Yeah.
Another brand that slept on is the 361.
I don't know.
I wear the Elios 361. Actually, Jesse Davis.
Okay, I've never met Jesse Davis. I've heard his name a lot.
He's a Matt Ebersol legend.
Yeah, he is.
He's a legend in general.
Yeah.
But he's a 361 guy.
Okay.
And then, so that's where I got tips from Mike Olson, who's cool with Jesse Davis. They wear 361, and I love it for my Asics shoe. It's very, very similar to the Asics Nimbus.
Okay.
That you were talking about.
Okay. Well, I don't work at a running store anymore, so it's really sad because I don't get my discount anymore. And
At
it really
30%,
hurts. I
that's
had
clutch.
50%.
What store was this?
I know, right? Fleet Feet. It was amazing.
I'm done off Fleet Feet. They never get my money.
Yeah, it's, I shouldn't say anything. But anyway, we'll just move on. Okay, so what's next?
What's next?
Finish line or milestone? What's going on this year?
The next big race for me, the one that I actually like have my eyes set on big, it's Carmel.
It's Carmel. Yes. I'm so excited because I'll have a microphone at the finish line.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you better believe I'm going to scream.
I'm definitely going to be looking for you. I'm definitely going to wave at you. And as I pass by, Carmel is my big one. Okay. You know, you have races leading up to a race.
Of course.
But like, no matter what, those aren't going to deviate like how I feel about going into Carmel. Like I have Polar Bear next week. I'm doing the 5K and then the 5 miler. So it's called the Bear when you do both races.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
I'm running the 5K as a race, so I'm gonna try to give it my all. Which
have you done that before? Like a 5K race, like where you're.
Yeah, I hate 5K.
Yeah,
that's my worst. That's my worst.
Hard.
That's my worst race.
Yeah, I hate it. It's so weird, isn't it? Like. People who don't run are like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Running 3 miles is harder.
I say it all the time. They're like, you run 26 miles. You run 20 miles every day.
That's you don't understand.
You go from start to death right away. Marathon, you don't go from start to death. You die slowly.
Yeah, it's a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
Of a death.
5K is just horrible.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Not a fan of it. It's like pulling teeth to get me to
run. So
then
what are you doing it for?
Because if I don't, coach is going to give me shit.
Well, there you go. Gotta get better. He's like, I thought you wanted to get better.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
that's his go.
I'm doing it.
As you know, that's his go-to.
I heard that and I was like, oh.
And he knows that, like, boils my blood when he says that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing with Coach. He knows what buttons to push. He knows his athletes. Yeah. Like, I know when I first started with him, I was like, man, I thought I had a good run. Like, he don't say anything. But then I noticed, like, he gives you that head nod or in a look. That's when you know you did good. I don't even need him to say anything. I'll look over him after a rep. He'll give me a head nod.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Yep.
But, yeah, Carmel is my big one. It's my first marathon, like, in the elite field.
Cool.
Like, so I'm super excited about that. A little nervous. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be, like, the top elite runner, but it's just, in general, just being in that elite field, like, get that little bit of status. I mean, it adds a little bit of pressure. You want to at least live up to that.
Like, well, you will, just by default.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. I think things will align perfectly for what I want, and I might surprise myself and others that day.
I hope so.
I hope so.
What are you doing in the fall?
Fall, I'll have Fort Bend as a training run, but then I have Chicago and I have Monumental back to back.
Have you done Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What year did you do Chicago?
I did Chicago the same year I did Boston, so 2022.
Okay.
I also ended up in the med tent in that one too as well.
Yeah.
And that was the worst. That was my worst race as far as like strategy goes. Mind you, this is my third marathon at the time, so I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Coach would tell you I looked so good. First 16 miles, this is right after I ran a last chance BQ in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
And I ran that race because we didn't know what the cutoff was going to be for Boston because they don't ever tell you.
Yeah.
And I needed to get a race in before then. So everybody was training for Chicago at the time, and I had Chicago. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for Chicago. And then I'm like, dang, I had Michigan before this. I ran the Michigan last chance BQ at Grand Rapids, and he told me to cut it off with 6 miles left because we knew I was going to get the BQ there.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to empty the tank because we had Chicago coming up within 3 weeks. I cut it off with 4 miles left and got second. I could have won it. I could have won.
Yeah.
That was my third marathon. I could have won that, but got second there. I went from 258 to 245, and then went to Chicago, ran 242, but I was on track for 234 the whole race because I was running stupid.
Yeah.
And then died. I died so bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. But went to the finish line. I was actually fine, but I had toenail problem or something that my foot was bleeding, and you could see it through my shoe. And anybody that had a foot injury, they automatically put them in a wheelchair. So I'm sitting in a wheelchair with a bloody sock and shoe like the Kurt Schilling red socks. I still got the sock, did not wash it. It was a brand new. I wear a brand new sock every race. Like I open up a new fresh pack of Nike socks.
That's interesting.
So
okay.
Wore it one time. It's in the shrine.
The shrine.
With all my PR shoes that I have that are retired. Like I keep all my shoes that I've retired. I put the time, signature, and date on there.
That's
I mean,
cool.
they ain't gonna sell anywhere, an auction or anything when I pass, but it's
How do
it's
you
cool.
know, Rob?
It's cool.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
Hey, you never know.
Don't sell yourself short. Oh man. Oh, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun. I definitely enjoyed it. Did not expect to open up like that, but hey,
that's what I'll do to you.
it was a blast. It was a blast.
Man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And you gotta tell Brennan he's next.
I guess.
Next.
You want
Coming up.
Brendan on there?
I know. I don't know what he's gonna say.
No, he's a cool guy. He's a super dad. He does what he runs like I do, but also does the mom duties in the morning like my wife. So I give it to him. He has a lot on his plate too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody who has listened, and happy running.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this Sandy Boy Productions podcast, please be sure to share, rate, review. Again, on Instagram, I'm Allie, ALLYT, Brett, BRETT _runs. And also join me next week to hear from Christine Anderson, the creator of the Organic Pure Fuel sponsor that I talked about at the beginning of this podcast. I can't wait for you to meet Christine. See you next week.